The U.S. Department of Homeland Security confirmed today U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has begun an immigration enforcement operation in Maine. In what they call Operation Catch of the Day, the department says they are targeting, quote, the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens, unquote. They say some of the charges those arrested are facing include aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and endangering the welfare of a child. While DHS did not specify how many people they have arrested or plan to arrest, they did release the identities of 4 people taken into custody yesterday. They say those arrested were from Sudan, Ethiopia, Angola, and Guatemala. DHS also criticized Governor Mills, saying in part, quote, Governor Mills and her fellow sanctuary politicians in Maine have made it abundantly clear that they would rather stand with criminal illegal aliens than protect law-abiding American citizens, unquote. We reached out to Governor Mills for a statement regarding ICE operations. She says, quote, if the federal government has warrants, then it should show them. But if they are separating working mothers from young children solely because they sought freedom here and have committed no crime, then the federal government is only sowing intimidation and fear and fostering division and suspicion among neighbors, none of which is